Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with Georgie, my client. We're going to talk through how she got into coaching, some top tips for aspiring coaches, and we're going to dig a little bit into how you scale your business, either through developing an app or through hiring coaches to help you deliver massive value to your clients.
I got into training because I was at uni. Well, what happened was my ex-boyfriend at the time, like he got into the gym and he was like, I'm going to start tracking my macros and going to the gym. And I was like, that just sounds crazy, like as if you're going to keep that up. So I started training with him, and then when I went to university, I just went to the gym all the time. So that was the main thing that got me into training. And then I realised that I didn't love uni. I dropped out after my first year.
Oh, okay.
So I did business and events management at uni, thinking that I wanted to be a wedding planner. So I feel like I kind of knew I wanted to work for myself, but I just couldn't quite put my finger on it. So did that, dropped out, and then when I dropped out, I used to be like I used to have like no backbone. So I literally followed my ex-boyfriend up to the other side of the country when he was at uni, and I just worked in a cafe. And when I was working in that cafe, I was also training, as you do, like training alongside while you have a normal job. And the guy in the gym was like, you should do your PC qualification and get a PC qualification. So I did, and then by that time I'd already had like a reasonable following on Instagram. So I said on Instagram like, oh, I'm going to start online coaching as well. So I started online coaching and I started working in the gym, and then it just got to the point where the gym was like I'm making more money from just online coaching.
But you weren't even really trying then, by the sound of it. I guess you benefited from back then when you created content, it would automatically have a good organic reach because there weren't so many people doing it. But you didn't create content in a systematic way. You created what you wanted to create, just documented your journey, right?
I just showed my journey, that just got followers. And then as I was doing PT and stuff, I was just posting online more, doing YouTube videos, and then it was so organic, and I never went into Instagram thinking, oh, I want to be an online coach. Never, ever. So it just got to a point where it's just like the demand is too high.
And were you PTing in person? Because you were in Exeter for a period of time, weren't you? Which is where I went to school.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I love Exeter. So Exeter, I lived in Exeter for a long time. That's where I met my best friend Ali, who's now my business manager. I loved Exeter, and that's why I moved to start PTing, because I used to live in like a tiny town in Cornwall, and I was trying to do like boot camps. No one was turning up. No one was turning up. So I just said, right, I'm just going to move cities, start again, and just start working from a gym. So that's what I did, and then I just...
Which gym were you at next to them?
Snap Fitness.
Oh, I don't remember.
On Marsh Bar, and it's quite new. And then I moved into Pure Gym. But that was good. At Pure Gym, I was the most popular female PT. I was paying the boys, the other boys that were PTing, because you had to do a certain amount of shifts, like 12 hours or something. I was paying them to do my shifts because I was so busy that I would much rather just PT while I'm meant to be on shift. So I actually ended up quitting because I said to the guy that owned it, I was like, well, the manager at Pure Gym, I was like, I want to go to Ibiza, can I have a week off? And he was like, no, you have to find someone to cover it. So I thought, I'm just gonna leave.
And then that's when you went on your own.
And that's when I went on my own. And I remember like the jump to online coaching was scary.
You did that pre-pandemic. It wasn't because you
way
had to
before
go
pre-time.
online.
Way before.
So why did you go online? Just to be able to reach more people?
I just got to a point where I was like, I can't take on any more clients without it just my service going down the drain. Because I was PTing. I was like PTing from like 6 a.m. until like 11 a.m. And then I was going back in the evening, and it was just too much. And I was thinking like, okay, I can't remember how much I was getting per hour PTing, but I was like, if I can just have a few more clients, I've covered myself there. So
because you were selling time for money then. But I always find it so interesting now that we only work in health and fitness, because if you want to really help people, I guess if you're working like 6 in the morning till whenever, you might get some breaks in the day. You don't really get time to sit down and help them with other aspects of their training. Like, where would you have time? If you're physically training from 6 in the morning till say 10 at night,
you don't have time to sit down and do it.
You don't have time to sit down, analyse their progress, write out their nutrition, coach them, look at video, all of that. other stuff, right?
So I think that's what a lot of PTs do. Like they'll do one-to-one coaching in the gym, but they'll never do anything else. They don't give them any diet plan, any other training. And I actually kind of got on top of that. So the reason on why I decided to leave Pure Gym was because I was doing all that on top.
Yeah.
So I was setting them up as basically an online client, and then PTing them in the gym, and then trying to manage that and all the rest of my
So then you were super busy, but they got so much value from it. They were telling everyone else.
I actually have 2 girls that still coach with me now that I used to PT in the gym. That was 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And that's like unheard of now. There's a big shift to like transformation coaching and short-termism, but really what I see from your stories in the most part is helping people with, like I think someone got married the other day, one of your clients.
Yes, it is wedding season at the moment.
Yeah,
because of the pandemic, no one got married last year, so everyone's getting married this year.
And they want to look their best, but then they want to look great and feel confident on their honeymoon and then into their married life and everything else. Right? So it's a long-term thing.
Yeah, so my coaching isn't like diet for an event and then rebound afterwards. I say to people like the beginning bit is so hard because you're just creating new habits and breaking like bad habits, but then once you've done it, you literally sit back one day and you think, oh my god, that's just normal life now, and this used to be a chore. Yeah. So it's just changing people's lifestyle, basically.
Yeah,
so,
working with them and how to do it.
I absolutely love lifestyle coaching.
Yeah, and I can see that from my own because I want to compete next year, but I don't want to compete in the long term because I think it's prohibitive to the things that I want to do with my kids, and sometimes I do want to have a glass of chilled Sauvignon Blanc on the beach in Marbella or somewhere, and you know, if I'm on prep then I'm not going to be doing that. So but I think if you've got a finite goal, like you've got a competition, you're willing to make sacrifices up to that point, but it doesn't mean I want to stop working with a coach after that. I want the accountability. Yeah, exactly. You know, like, and you create a routine.
A good analogy of that is that if you weren't working really hard to get a promotion, then you got promotion, it was just like, yeah, okay, I'm just going to quit now. You would never do that. So it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same as like a lead up.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a lead up to an event. Do you know what I mean? It's just like another little phase for you. But you're right. Like for you, like after you've competed, it will just be like normal life again.
Yeah.
And it's just adapting to that. So I'll be doing the same.
Setting new goals, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think like it'll be interesting to get your thoughts on whether you think that this is like controversial, so push back as much as possible. Do you think that you were lucky to come in at the time where it was easier to get reach and there were less online coaches?
Yes.
Okay. But do you think also at the same time, do you think you'd still be as successful if you were going through your transition from, which many people are, right? From physical PT now, and they're trying to get to online? Because I see so many people struggling. But then when I speak to them in the DMs or wherever, I don't get the impression that they have the business skills or they don't differentiate themselves enough from other coaches to sit aside in the market, whereas I think that you do, so I think that you'd still be successful personally.
I think that if I was to come into the market now, I would still be able to break into it. And I also think I wouldn't have been able to like prolong how long I've been an online coach because obviously at the beginning, like there was people doing it, to be fair. It was quite popular, but it wasn't crazy popular. So I would have got through that bit, and now there's all these coaches, you know. I have a lot of clients leave me for another coach and then come back.
Yeah. Okay,
so like it's kind of like the consistency. Like I've never taken my foot off the gas. Like even now, like with however many clients and whatever, I'm still just making sure that I'm on it. So I would say that if I was to come in now, it would be harder, don't get me wrong, because there is no difference between anyone.
But you back yourself to be able to get to where you are now, client number wise and income wise, because of what you do, the value that you add to your clients.
Yeah, and obviously just the experience. Like the more you work with people, the more you know how to speak to people, you know how to manage people. Like that is a lot of what online coaching is. Like, I lifestyle coach. I don't need to know the ins and the outs and the depths of everything. I'm basically like just helping people manage their own lifestyle. So you just learn how to work with people basically.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, makes sense. So in terms of why you started, I'm not sure that I know you answered the question to a certain extent, but you didn't tell me why you love training and why you love coaching.
I started training myself because when I was at uni, I suffered really badly with my mental health, and that's what took me into the gym. And I literally just trained as a bit of a kind of escape of like how I was feeling.
Yeah.
And when I was at uni, I was like doing a lot of partying and stuff, and like my lifestyle was just not great. So like I just changed my own lifestyle, and in a way I changed my own sort of mental health through exercise. So that's what kind of got me into training. And then when I was working a cafe job full time and hating my life, I was like, I just need to change something. So I just thought, like, if I can do fitness full time, then surely I'm going to be happy all full time. So that's kind of how it worked. Yeah, I think, and like I was saying earlier, I feel like I didn't really love education. I didn't really kind of gel with being at uni. I knew I wanted to work for myself. So yeah, I was just going to get there somehow. So fitness, it just kind of combined.
So you enjoy it, but presumably, I guess like with me, if I see financial results in clients, or I help them get a mortgage for their first house or whatever it might be, that's really rewarding, which is why I want to keep GrowFactor small and work with people to have individual relationships as much as I can, but then let my team have individual relationships as well. So presumably you get a lot from helping people get into their wedding dress on the wedding day.
Yes, there's no other feeling like it. Like, yeah, but sometimes you just get so like not distracted, but you're just doing like business, and then there's figures, and then there's this, and then you just sit at your laptop and read like a client's message, and you're like, oh my god, like this is actually this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm quite not lucky, but because my business is at a point now where I can employ other people into it, the only thing I really do is coach, and that's what I love doing. So yeah, I'm happy.
That's cool. Yeah, I know, like when we do business mastery with Tony Robbins, the first day, whether you do like business mastery 1 or 2, splits it into 2 events, it's always writing out what business you're actually in like a sentence, so you can explain it. Not like I'm an online fitness coach.
No, but what
it's like, what do you actually do? And then the second thing is like, genuinely, do you add what he calls massive value to your clients or not? And like, you really need to think about that.
Yeah.
And like for you, I think you do. For us, I think like not all the time, but that's what we really strive for. Like tangible, measurable value.
I've had periods in my coaching career where I have not brought massive value to my clients, from either getting distracted by life or taking on too many clients, or you know, just not managing my time properly. So I definitely can relate to that. Like that is actually huge. If you're an online coach and you sit down and you think, am I actually bringing value to my clients? If you're not, what are you doing?
Yeah, and they'll start to leave you, right? Because we found the same thing that you spoke about. Like clients have left GrowFactor
it's too busy.
Because maybe that particular accountant had been allocated too many clients, or maybe they didn't get back to them quickly enough, or maybe they just weren't feeling the love at that time. Or maybe sometimes people do, it's human nature to become complacent, or they're going through their own shit at that time. Most of the time, they come back. And they come back because they realise, oh, actually, when I compared it to something else, I actually realised you were doing this, and this. Like what we've changed now is instead of doing all these things in the background, we tell the client.
Yeah, what you're doing.
Even if they know, I write it down and I show them, I saved you 57 grand in tax this year.
And they're like, oh, thank you.
And they're like, oh yeah, you did actually. You know, because I don't mind, you don't take that personally. Human nature, and I explain this to my team. Pick the one thing. Oh, you said we'd get the VAT return done within 14 days of the quarter, it was 15 days. Oh, but we saved you 150 grand in tax. It's like, you have to accept with your clients, that's always the way that people will be. It's human nature. So don't take it personally and learn from it.
Like every time something crops up in your business and you think, oh, that wasn't great. If a client leaves me and they say, oh, the reason I left you was because X, Y, and Z, then like that's happened to me in the past when I had too many clients. And they were like, yeah, I'm just leaving because like, it doesn't seem that personal. And I was like, shit. Like, that literally, I was like, I sat on that. And I thought, right, we're sorting this out now. So yeah, I think you do definitely learn from it. But I know what you mean. You always like pick, oh, they didn't reply to me quick enough, but you know, they have changed my whole life and I've lost 3 stone. But they didn't reply quick enough that one day. So,
it is like, so I think one thing we learn, and like we're 11 years into running GrowFactor now.
That's crazy.
But one thing we even changed this week, I even said to my business partner, Yasser, like you've got to accept that there'll never come a point, you feel like as a business owner, maybe there'll come a point where you know everything. It's not going to happen. Because I'm 11 years in, and now I'm saying, right, well, instead of reviewing our clients every year, we need to ask them like 2 weeks after they signed, 90 days after they signed, and every 90 days, like say Aziz is your accountant.
Yes.
I need to get someone that doesn't have a personal relationship with you, so not me, to come in and say, how are things going?
Yes.
Are we still adding value?
Yeah.
Is there anything we could do better?
Yeah.
And you feel like you can give
I can talk to that.
Independent advice without hurting our feelings because we have a friendship, right? Because we want to know.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was saying to my team. Like, and if we talk about later, like you hiring coaches, you want those coaches to know whether they're doing a good job or not.
100%.
And you want them to be able to take it, not personally.
No, of course not. It's never personal with anything. Like for you guys, you're trying to, as a business owner, when you're working with someone else that's a business, you kind of have like that, I know what you're doing, I'm going through the same thing. So it's like people make mistakes, you know?
Yeah.
Which is why I think I'm a lot more like, a small business makes a mistake, I'm just like, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a small business.
Yeah.
Any big business, not having that. But yeah. I know what you mean.
It depends, right? Yeah, it depends.
And the thing with your business is it's accounting. Like, there's not too much that you can say. Like with you guys, like I know you're just getting on with my figures in the background. Like that's perfect. That's all I need. But some people want that tangible thing of like, what are you actually doing? What am I actually paying you for?
Yeah.
Which obviously you can tell them if they want to know. But
it's just building up trust, I guess.
Yes,
leads
for a small business person, it's quite a lot of money sometimes.
Yeah, it's a big investment.
An accountant's like, do I actually need that? Yes, you do. But
it's a big investment, and it's the same with anything. You pay for something, and then every so often you'll be thinking, unless that person's reminding you, why is this coming out every month? Unless they're reminding you, right?
100%. And that's something I recently did with my business. Is I used to kind of do like every 4 weeks, like a little bit of like a review, but not really. Whereas now what I do is every 8 weeks I'll sit down and do like a full video with my clients, like saying, this is what we've achieved. Like, look what we've done in the last 8 weeks. Okay, what are we going to do in the next 8 weeks? Like, what's our goal? And I think that's really helped keep on.
That's an awesome idea. And I think like from that and from other health and fitness clients we've got, we've learned so much. Because I'm trying to work out how to do weekly check-ins, which I haven't worked out yet, how to do weekly financial check-ins.
The thing is, people aren't going to want to do it.
No, but not to fill in their own numbers, but for us to do what you said. So
like
after 4 weeks, we'll say, this is what we just did. We'll check in for them. This is what we did for you over 4 weeks. This is what we've achieved together. Here's where you're at in terms of your financial performance versus your goals. Here's how you can, we can discuss it whenever you're ready. And just almost like, even if then they don't have time, because a lot of the time they're super busy, to jump on a Zoom call, like what you're doing, a digest of physical performance, will give them a digest of like their business performance. Like if you had to give someone who was trying to transition from PT to online now, or they're online but they're not where they want to be, and you went back to when you started, what are 3 like real mistakes that you made? Because I just wrote down like lessons is learning. If you don't make mistakes,
then what are you doing?
You
are making mistakes. Like your ego's too high to even realise that you're making mistakes.
Which is a big mistake, right? But if the only way you get better is to fail, right? Consistently, like with training. I think there's so many analogies between training and business, or training and life.
Yes, 100%. 100%, because with training, the more you put in, the more you get out. With business, the more you put in, the more you get out. 100%.
The closer you get to failure, the closer you are to a breakthrough, which someone said to me once, and I'm like, in business, right? Because if you feel like I've been trying to get into a rhythm with my content, right, for like the last year, and it's really frustrating, but now I feel like I'm really close. To getting
that little breakthrough.
Which is just useful content for everyone, not necessarily just clients. So you have to keep hammering at something, like a football skill. When I coach my kids at football, it might take them a year to get something, but eventually they'll get it.
Yes, 100%. There's been a lot of times in coaching where I've had like, what am I doing? Like, do I carry on with this? Like, is this even working? But you always have like little breakthroughs. Like something will come along, or you'll get a big like boom of interest. So. Yeah, a lot of times I've been like, oh God, is this actually going to work? Especially with Ali recently. She's great. So it's just a case of like, is this actually going to work? She's like, yeah, G, it's fine. Don't worry.
You need that other person as well. I think that's so important. So one lesson might be, don't do everything on your own. Like either, bring someone into the business. Like I have Yasser, who I literally phone up at 8:30 every morning when he's on the school run on the way back from his kids and just brain dump on him. And we just discuss things. And you have Ali, and presumably you guys have those same kind of conversations.
Yeah, of course,
So you either do that, or you get a coach or a mentor. But you just be going around in your own head all the time.
So just stay authentic, get people into business when you can.
So who would your first hire be? Would it be like a virtual assistant to start with that transitions into more of a business manager?
Yes.
Or would it be a coach?
Mine would be like a VA or a PA, because that is kind of how Ali came into my business, is because I was so busy, and she was actually on furlough at the time of her postgraduate job, and I just said, oh mate, like if I fling you a tenner or whatever, can you do my emails? And that's how it started. So I guess it depends what kind of person you are. Like if you're someone who actually enjoys doing emails and numbers and organisation and stuff, then potentially a coach, but I would say a VA on a part-time is perfect.
Me too. And even then I would say, like, even if you enjoy emails and numbers, that's not your zone of genius. If you're a coach and you're good,
you have to hand it over. Yeah, you just have to hand it over. So yeah, VA would be my first one. Someone that can do like graphics, I think, is a good thing to have as like a contractor, accountant. Depending on what sort of person you are, but definitely an accountant. And then coaches for me. So
let's talk about that. So you're now expanding your business.
Yes.
Thinking about hiring coaches. Why?
Wow, hiring coaches is something I've just always said I'm never going to do. I've always said it's coached by Georgie. I'm not hiring anyone else. I think I actually pulled some of my clients about 2 years ago, like old sort of long-term clients, and said, what do you think about me bringing on coaches? And they all went, no, we don't want anyone else. And that kind of then put this thing in my head of like, oh, I don't need other coaches, that's not going to be a thing. But recently I've really come around to the idea. I think that now I've got a bit more of like a brand, like I have a bit of an established brand. Like I'm hoping that people think of like CBG as CBG, not coached by Georgie. So I feel like I have that opportunity now to kind of branch out and have coaches. Not that I say sign up with Coach by Georgie and then you just get allocated a coach that you don't even know. But bring people in underneath my brand that are like their own thing, their own coaches, obviously follow the same ethos as me, but can do their own thing, and just have those guys take on more women and like maybe something a little bit more unique and specific, like pre and postnatal or older women. That's kind of the goal for me. So scary, but I'm really excited.
I think like the best thing I didn't actually hire a VA first, but I would have hired a VA first, is I hired an accountant probably when I was 1 or 2 years in to run GrowFactor. And it allowed me to work with clients with different needs or maybe more in-depth, more challenging work at that time. And so long as I think you're totally transparent in the process, like now, whenever I meet someone, if they book a financial strategy call on Instagram, it'll be with me. But the first thing that I make clear is that I don't do any of the work. This is slightly different to you though, right? I don't do the work because I'm not the best person to do it. You're probably still the best person right now, but eventually it might transition into you're not the best person to do the day-to-day coaching.
There'll be other people that can do the same kind of job as me.
And you're coaching them, you're training them, you're reviewing their work.
Like they're not just do whatever you fancy, or like that's that. Obviously I'm looking for coaches that are like new to the industry. That are just really like keen to kind of get stuck in, and then they haven't got any bad habits. I can kind of mentor them at the same time. And I just think like, imagine like leaving this industry thinking, okay, I obviously took my own career to the top, but I also took X, Y, and Z's career to the top as well.
I think that's so rewarding and fulfilling that you're helping your team
and other people.
I would love it if you could get to even like, not like even like, you'll probably surpass us, because at GrowFactor we have a small UK team, right? It's Anish, Aziz, and Sam, and Yasser and me, and really everyone else is offshore. And that works for accounting. Like long term, I think good health and fitness coaches will have all the onboarding of clients, the check-ins and all those things, making sure people have filled in their check-in forms, done offshore, because that doesn't need to be done by a qualified coach. But this is like 3 or 4, 5 steps down the road, right?
Of course,
Do we do self-employed or employed for a coach that you take on? It will depend on what that coach does. If that coach is coaching other people outside of your brand, working their own premises, if they've got their own computer and all of these various different things, it's very like individual. You may be able to pay them as a contractor, which means you won't pay payroll taxes. That saves your business 14% on everything you pay them. However, if they're in your office, you're telling them what to do, they're using your computer and everything else, they really should be employed and on the payroll. And if you are paying someone as a contractor and they're not employed, but they're effectively an employee, you are at real risk of having an HMRC investigation, and they can go back up to 7 years and say every payment you've made, and there are loads of health and fitness coaches paying coaches underneath them as contractors, but they have not done any kind of review to make sure that the right things are in place, like a compliant contract and all these other things. They could come back and say, we want 14% of everything you've paid that coach for the last 7 years. And you'd basically be out of business.
Yeah.
So that's important. Okay, cool. All right, next.
This probably isn't a question now, but like, obviously holiday and sick pay. But if they're not...
if they're set up as a contractor, within the contract, you can stipulate that you don't want them to take more than X. You can still have that in there, but it won't be like calculating holiday pay. It'll just be unpaid.
Okay, yeah.
Because they're only earning money
if they work
from clients that they work on, and you're splitting the income.
So I would just put in the contract, like, you can take your own time off, but like that's...
I would have like, this is how it works, this is the notice period that I would like. I wouldn't like you to take more than X weeks at a time unless you're continuing to do check-ins. Yeah. Or you might say you can take holiday, but no more than a week off.
Yeah.
If it's more than a week, you need to do this, this, and this. I mean, you can't. I don't think you can say to someone they can only take a week's holiday a year. You're going to have to give like 25
You work every day at my business. This is what me and Ali were thinking about this, and like, because obviously she's an employee.
Yeah.
But like, she doesn't really take holiday. Like, she'll take like the afternoon off because she works on her own schedule.
Yeah.
And
so,
it's just like she's like, they just have to get on with it and learn that you just have no days off.
I think that you should have in the contract like what you would prefer, so that they know from the outset.
Yeah.
Like, you can take this much off and literally do nothing.
Or you can just do bits and bobs.
Or you can do this as a minimum and almost have unlimited, because you don't mind where they work from. And it just has to be worded in the right way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We can have you look over it if that's...
Yeah, we can do it together, yeah. Because I have a system as well where people can log in and say what hours they're working or what they're doing through the week. It's quite cool. So people can do flexi time. Because at the end of the day, you're not really tracking the hours that they're working. You're just tracking the output.
Yeah.
So the other important thing, which may or may not have been one of your questions, is establish key performance indicators for them, which is they need to tick off each day, each week, what they've done, so that you know what they're up to.
Yeah.
That's really important.
So
and
like
then
monitoring performance, basically.
Yeah, work out what you do that makes a great day, week, or whatever. Then create a dashboard where they have to tick off what they've done each day. Because as a business owner, you'll realise that you start worrying about what they're up to, and you'll start micromanaging them.
This is what I'm worried about, like giving the confidence to say, like, I can do it with accountants and PAs now, but you're actually going to be coaching women underneath my branding.
So
don't mess that up.
Yeah, first of all, you need to think about what are the daily requirements of your coach. And at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, you have them submit like a plan for the day and what they got done. That will just give you comfort. And then over time, they can stop doing that. They could just do it once a week or whatever. Then think about the KPIs, like KPIs around, why don't you survey a client after 2 weeks and say, how's the experience? Get them to rate you out of 10, things like that. Just set the processes up. And then I'm not sure, question 4, this is not really a good Q&A because I'm basically
it's fine,
asking my own questions.
Do you have any questions? Well, actually, I'm just going to answer the ones that I've got. Yeah, no, it's fine.
If you need to write process documents, starting with everything you do. So, like, how are you planning on training your coaches?
I was just gonna mentor them in terms of like taking them on.
You'll basically jump on Zoom with them or have them come to your apartment
I want to
and
meet
show
them in person.
Yeah. So when you show them, video the training, right? Write notes, and I can show you an example process document. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So you never have to do it again. Obviously, you'll still meet them face to face.
But you can just give them that document or that video.
And then they can ask questions.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.